Thanks, Cade.
All right, you guys are live, good to go. Thank you very much for your patience.
Okay. Well, welcome to the Joint Homeless Subcommittee meeting. This is Thursday, February 18th at 10:12 a.m. We will begin with the meeting with the call to order and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Would somebody like to volunteer to do the pledge?
Oh, sure, let's do it.
Mr. Leffler.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, the first item of business is under special orders of business, consideration and selection of Joint Homeless Subcommittee special meeting date and time. This is for this committee's next meeting. I don't think that this depends on the discussion today. I think the committee could pick a meeting date about a month away or a month and a half or so. Are there any recommendations?
Well, Adam, sometimes you have other meetings.
Couple options. Say that again.
I said sometimes you have other meetings and sometimes city, staff and stuff. So maybe tell us some good dates that you see out there in the future.
Okay. Okay. So, all right, today is the 18th. So, as far as March goes, one consideration is I will be taking some time off from March 17th through the 26th. So, we could do the meeting before March 17th, or we could do it like the 29th or at the very end of the month, or we could just go into April. Are there any preferences there?
Off the bat, I can say that I'm actually taking time off myself from the 26th until April 4th. So that'll be blocked off for me.
So why don't we do a meeting beforehand?
Okay, I just moved this. How about
regularly every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, second Tuesday of the month or something like that?
to the extent we can, we could make a consistent meeting date, but we have to decide that date prior to each meeting because it's a special an ad hoc committee. So let's see, the city's calendar. So March 16th is a Tuesday, and that is a council meeting day. But if we met earlier in the day, I don't see much conflict there. Otherwise, let's see, maybe March 11th. As long as it's not too late in the afternoon, that pretty much that whole day is open as well. Do either of those days work?
They all work for me, so I'm good.
What day of the week? What day of the week is the 11th?
The 11th is a Thursday.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm fine either.
Okay, Thursday, the 11th then? Sounds good.
Thursday, the 11th, at what time? 3 o'clock? Or 10 o'clock, or what time is that?
Yeah, 3 o'clock would be fine.
Is it afternoons work better for every morning? Afternoon works fine for me. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Afternoons. Afternoon's fine.
Yes.
Tyler?
That works for me.
Okay.
Bill, you want afternoon?
Afternoon's great.
Okay.
All right. So if that time works, then if somebody could make a motion and the committee could take a vote on Thursday, March 11th at 3 p.m.
Yeah, I can make that motion for our next meeting to be on Thursday, March 11th at 3 p.m.
Second,
Okay. Let's see. Committee member Bowden.
Oh, aye. Sorry.
Committee member Leffler,
aye.
Vice Chair Ewing,
Aye.
and Chair Walsh.
Aye.
All right, that passes 4-0. And so the next meeting will be March 11th at 3 p.m. All right, next on our agenda is to approve the minutes from the January 7th, 2021 special meeting of the Joint Homeless Subcommittee.
Okay, I'll
I move approval.
second,
All right, motion by Vice Chair Ewing and second by Committee Member Leffler. Committee Member Bowden,
Aye.
Committee Member Leffler,
aye.
Vice Chair Ewing,
Aye.
and Chair Walsh.
Aye.
All right, that passes 4-0. All right. We have no reviews and recommendations or new business, so we move on. Excuse me, I'm jumping ahead. The city has not received any oral or written communications to share. We also do not have anything under reviews and recommendations or new business. So we will jump to unfinished business, and that is the Joint Homeless Subcommittee work plan. As you are aware, the council approved the committee's recently presented work plan. We now have 4 items on the work plan. And so at this point, I will open up discussion to the committee as far as moving those projects forward. And if there are any questions that I can assist with, or if there's any recommendations you would like from staff, please let me know. So I will turn the meeting over to the committee.
Okay. So, before we had assigned the different parts of the work plan to different people. So maybe we should revisit all that. And so let's start with information gathering and presentation. So if you guys are, do you have those updated work plans? So this.
Hey, Gary, who were the original 2 people assigned to that?
Okay, now you're gonna hold on. I was looking through here and.
Well, Adam probably knows.
Yeah, I can tell you. I just have to go over and I put some work on my other desk over here to kind of make it easy for myself, but I just realized you're probably right. Well, and what this is basically what we'd come up with is to make a registry available for all the agencies and stuff that deal with homelessness in San Clemente. So.
Yeah, well, if I could speak on that. So, or just in general, there's 4 items in the work plan, and there's 4 of us, and we can have 2 of us meeting together outside of these meetings. So seems to stand to reason that we could have, like we did before, 2 of us working on each. And in reviewing these, this is kind of just general suggestion, recommendation, but it seems that the information gathering, which is kind of putting together this registry, as well as the fourth item, which is the communication and coordination. Those seem to be somewhat aligned with each other. One of them's, really about internal kind of city within the city organizations and making those contacts and setting up that registry, as well as extending that into sort of that stakeholders group and maintaining a line of communication. So it seems to me to stand to reason that the same people could do those two, and then the other two are kind of related also, the best practices as well as the overall strategy, looking at best practices in other cities. And then I know the overall strategy is really kind of, that's longer term. It's kind of, once we've gathered all this information and had these discussions, then we can come up with an overall strategy. But it seems to kind of align well with the best practices.
I agree with you, Tyler. Actually, I'm glad you said it, because that's kind of what I was thinking when we put all this together last time. I was thinking, oh, we could probably find everybody together. But yes, okay, I agree. I think that would be good.
Okay, for clarification, the info gathering now. So what's the next title of the next one that goes along with that? The next portion of the work plan?
The communication communication and coordination, I believe.
Okay, communications and coordination. And then what's the next one after that? The next main title?
Best practices.
Best practices. And then what's the last one that goes along kind of with best practices?
Good.
Overall homeless strategy.
Okay. Overall homeless strategy. Okay.
So on that note, I hate to butt in, but I'd really be excited to jump in on the info gathering and communication coordination one myself. I don't want to.
Okay. Well, I would be happy to work with you on that if that's acceptable to everybody else.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
And I'll share, because I've been calling people and stuff. I'll share a lot of information I already have. I'll forward you.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. I mean, we're going to be working on all of these as a committee. It's just we can do the legwork between meetings together, but yeah, as a committee, we're going to be working on all of them anyway. So everybody will trust me. Everybody will be available for input on all of them.
So Bill, I think that leaves us with best practices and overall homelessness
That's good.
strategy, right?
Gotcha.
Okay. Easy peasy, guys.
That's great.
All right. Adam, anything else that you think we need on that?
As far as assignments go, I don't believe so. I think just that discussion formalized that. Now, as far as expectations and timelines, I think everybody, if you would like to discuss that, there are projected timelines within each project, and I can communicate with the particular groups of two on specific deliverables for each project. But I think each project pretty well spells out what's expected. So unless there are specific questions about how to move something forward, I think it's pretty clear what your marching orders are.
Right. And so just at the March 11th meeting, just be prepared to kind of update. Okay, you don't have to give specifics. Like here's all the things I've done, but just, make sure that you're moving along, I guess, is all we're looking for.
Yeah, and I think that timing is actually pretty good. That's 3 weeks from now, and there was already a bit of a delay in getting the subcommittee up and running, so to speak. So, in addition to now starting on the 2020-2021 work plan, we're already at the middle of February, and in literally 4 months or so, we'll probably be back and looking at a next year's work plan. So yeah, it's crunch time.
That's
Right.
great.
And also, we want to try to gather as much information as possible for the homeless liaison coordinator that's going to be hired by the city. And I think the expectation date of a hire for somebody that is around June or July. Is that correct, Adam?
Yeah, I want to say about around June, but it depends on the recruitment. And the HR manager, Heather Lowe's presentation to the council, she mentioned that at the earliest we could begin the interview process, which starts with an oral board. The earliest would be mid-March. So kind of playing out that timeline, June makes sense for when somebody would actually be hired and, boots on the ground working. So what I can do for the next meeting, if there are any specific questions about that position, I can put together some information that may help with an identification of kind of what information may be best suited to provide for this person. As I mentioned as was mentioned at the city council meeting, the position has been posted. So it's on the city's website. So you can refer to that posting to find out what the qualifications and expectations are for that position, the kinds of information that we would like that person to bring with them to the city. And what you can do is look at that and then surmise what the resources that would best facilitate this person's successful beginning working here would be.
Yeah, if I can ask a question here, I reviewed the job description. I think it's pretty good. I don't know who had input to that. It would have been a good idea to run by our committee, would seem to me, but we missed that step. There's no mention in there about our committee and being part of that, I don't mean to be part of the committee, but to participate with us. But there is something in here about the sheriff department's homeless outreach team. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, we have 2 deputies assigned to that. That's their assignment, and that's what they do in the city. They're the OCSD's outreach, and so when they get a call that might involve the homeless, they try to dispatch one of those deputies if they're available. They go and handle all the homeless related calls.
Yeah, there's no mention of our committee though, and attending meetings and helping to coordinate activities and things like that. But somebody might want to look at that. Yeah.
There was some conversation at the council meeting in general about the homeless outreach person working with our committee in concert with our committee, or that our expectation is that we would be able to help in any way we can. But as far as a specific direction about our committee and that position, there is none.
I think your point's well made, though, Bill. That
yeah,
it should be aligned with us, and some concert.
Yeah, I'd like to just throw out there, it was kind of my expectation that when they hired this person, that the relationship would be similar to Adam being a city employee and working with the Public Safety Committee, and Samantha Wiley at Beaches and Parks works with the Beaches and Parks Committee. I thought it was going to be something similar to that, but am I wrong in that expectation, Adam? Is the homeless outreach person going to be looked on as just an autonomous, entity?
You know, let me quickly answer that, and then I'll turn this over to Cecilia Gallardo Daly, our Community Development Director, for more specific input on this position. But no, that position, what I'm doing with the subcommittee is I'm providing, along with Janet Batchelor, providing administrative assistance for this committee, and that's a specific skill, essentially, that it's just helping to facilitate the coordination within a committee or subcommittee. That position has a different task within the city. To say that somebody is autonomous, there's really nobody in the city that is absolutely autonomous. We all work with multiple committees or commissions or the council. There's just because it's not identified specifically doesn't mean that there is not an intrinsic link between this position and the Joint Homeless Subcommittee. So I'll turn this over to Cecilia for additional information.
Thanks, Adam. Hello, Cecilia Gardo Daly, Community Development Director. Thanks. All great questions about how this position will interface with the various divisions and employees and commissions and committees. This is a field position. This person is going to be out in the field with code compliance staff, with park rangers, and with the sheriff's department. The expectation isn't that this person is going to be on a regular basis participating in the Joint Homeless Subcommittee meeting. That's actually Adam's role and responsibility, and my role and responsibility, to be that face and to convey the information that's going on out there to the committee. We really want this person to be out there in the field, as I said. So Adam and I will be the ones that will be communicating and coordinating. And, to the extent that there are, any updates or special presentations or some information that might be good for the committee to hear firsthand from the outreach coordinator, we will certainly, absolutely provide that to the committee as part of the regular agenda.
Cecilia, who does the job report to?
The position reports to Adam in code compliance, and it's a position that is going to be in the community development department.
Okay, thank you.
If I could just make a comment on that to Bill's point, I think if we do our job right, then this person, regardless of the job description coming in, would want to use us as a resource and the things that we've put together as a resource. And so I think that's kind of our goal, is just to help them even if they're not, subject to our direction or anything like that. It's just if we're able to put together this registry and resource guide and stakeholder group and whatnot to the best of our abilities, then they'll want to use that resource to help them in their position.
And Adam, and if I may call it Cecilia, I'm curious, what is your visions for our committee with that homeless liaison coordinator?
I think what you have outlined in the work plan sets up a great framework for at a citywide level, establishing what the priorities are, what you think the focus of homeless services should be in the city. I think the resource guide is going to be really important. And I think having that information that can be given to the homeless coordinator is going to be very important. And, I think ideally, you're the link between what we're doing for community outreach on homeless issues in the city and the city council.
Okay, I was waiting for Adam to see if he wanted to chip in with anything.
Couldn't say it any better.
Okay.
Just making a comment. I think a lot of this is going to depend on who gets hired. You know, the person that's hired. How I envision it's kind of going to be fluid until then, because we could get somebody that really wants to work, you know, or utilize the homeless subcommittee more than somebody else might. It just depends on the person they hire. So we should, you know, do our work the best we can, and then just wait and see what happens. I mean, I think.
You know, I will speak on that, committee member Leffler, if you don't mind. You know, I don't want this to come off as sounding selfish, but you know, I work as support for the joint homeless subcommittee, and I'm also going to be overseeing this position. So there is a specific desire that I have to get as much out of the joint homeless subcommittee as possible to help this person succeed, this new position. So I highly doubt that the city is going to hire somebody that personally does not want to work with the joint homeless subcommittee. That seems counterintuitive to their own interests. But just for myself, I want to ensure that this person succeeds. I have every incentive in the world to get as much from this subcommittee as possible to help that staff succeed. So there are multiple people here that are going to create a strong incentive for the subcommittee to create essentially the overarching parameters of the city's response to homelessness in a way that best supports this position.
Yeah, and I didn't mean that was going to be an adversarial situation. I was talking more about personality. You know, whoever is hired is going to have a different person. You know, we don't know, and that's what I meant. I didn't mean for a second that I thought there was going to be any kind of adversarial situation between us and whoever they hire. And speaking, you know, to you directly, or about you directly, Adam, I mean, I'm very confident from working with you in the Public Safety Committee that we're going to have a fine, you know, situation with communication and cohesiveness. I have no thought that wouldn't happen. So I was just talking about day-to-day mechanics more, and like I say, personality wise. That's all. And no matter what that is, we will work fine within that, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I didn't take anything you said as implying that there would be any adversarial roles here. What I was trying to convey was that I want to work. I want to get this committee to be as productive as we possibly can when it comes to addressing homelessness. And this position is, I think, just perfectly situated to truly utilize the information that comes out of this subcommittee. So as opposed to, you know, a lot of other work that committees do, I think that the fruits of the work here are going to be visible very clearly because this position is just, it's so dedicated to one particular set of tasks that happen to be so in line with what the subcommittee is doing. So I think that's exciting to see. So more to come on that. And I will provide updates as the meetings continue on where we are in that process, to the extent that I can, you know, provide that information. So.
And Adam, not to look too far forward, but maybe just make the suggestion now, because I'll probably forget between now and the time they get hired. But maybe you might explore, after the person, whoever it is here for a little bit and all that maybe they would want to be involved in our meetings. I know when we started public safety, we expanded to the Campo Bianco, chief of fire department, Rob Merlot, the marine safety person, kind of, came into our group. And maybe that would be something, in the future that we might think about, at least reaching out, to that person. Because, maybe they would feel that it would be remiss if they weren't part of it. Maybe that, might be that person's feeling. So at least, maybe we could keep that in the queue there, or something that might happen in the future.
Absolutely. As Cecilia said, this is a in the field position, and we'd like to utilize this person as much as possible for that task. But yeah, absolutely. These things tend to evolve information, especially as subcommittees like this get deeper into a subject matter. There may be questions that this person's more capable of answering than anybody else, and then their presence at the meetings would be of great benefit. So yeah, that's never going to be off the table. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, I think as this evolves, like, the public might be interested in listening to our meetings, more if the homeless outreach person were part of it, and we give them an opportunity to give information, that to the public, they wouldn't normally have. Public could be involved in at least hearing what's going on, which might be beneficial, which was part of our work plan also. And the public is part of it and does want to hear what's going on.
Absolutely. So unless there are other discussions about the work plan or any specific projects,
I just wanted to point out one thing on the work plan.
Yes,
that
sir.
I just happened to notice here that I think is a good reflection is that on the way we've done it with two members doing the two different things, each group addressing these, one is from the Human Affairs Committee and one is from the Public Safety Committee. So I like the balance. So.
Wow, nice.
That's good.
Excellent.
How about that?
Yeah, we didn't try to do that, but it happened that way. And
I was going to say, for the record, please state that was completely arbitrary.
That was a lucky accident. That was good.
Yeah.
Can I ask one question about the job description? Another question. I'm sorry to keep asking these things, but I've got a million questions about what this job is going to do. There's some reference here to case management. Is this position going to be primary on case management since they're out on the street, or is that going to still be with Pam, or where is that going to be?
No, case management is going to be one of the primary duties of this position. To the extent that the community outreach worker makes contact with an individual, then and that individual is interested in services, that is the case management. So the community outreach worker will be working with that individual on any types of special services or needs they may have, connecting them with resources and following up on their progress every step of the way. So, if it is an individual that gets connected with an organization, there'll still be follow-up.
Okay, thank you.
And Cecilia, isn't the whole idea of this is that we're not going to use CityNet, we're not going to pay CityNet anymore, that this resource or this outreach person is actually going to take over their duties, right?
That's absolutely correct. The whole point is that we don't have a third party coming in to do outreach services, that we have an in-house staff person that is going to be making the direct connections, partnering with city staff and working on case management, working on outreach. We will not be contracting out for this service anymore. We'll be providing this service in-house.
Good idea.
Yeah, I anticipate much better service doing it this way.
As long as the accountability is pretty clear about where the case management primary accountability is. And if it's with this position, then if we have 60 homeless people in the city, then we would expect this position to have a database that involves those 60 positions and the information and where it stands and what resources have been provided and that sort of thing, right?
That's absolutely correct, Bill. You're right. Just in terms of responsiveness and accountability, we think that having it as an in-house position just provides us with better resources that are going to be more useful in the long run to us. And just in terms of accountability, we've got a lot of interest from the city council to this specialized joint subcommittee to staff that, there are going to be a lot of layers of reporting that, we expect to provide, both on a regular basis to the city council. There's always a standing item on the agenda. Right now it's homelessness / CityNet. I suspect that'll be homelessness / community outreach worker, and Adam or I, and maybe a combination of the outreach worker, will be providing regular communications to the council on what's happening, but obviously providing those regular communications to this committee as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Are there any other questions on this topic? I want to, I know Cecilia has a limited amount of time today, and I want to get to any questions that she can answer now. But if there are none, then we can discuss the reports of the committee members and staff. Unless there's something else on the work plan that any subcommittee members would like to discuss.
No questions myself. Just want to say thank you, Cecilia and Adam, for all the work that you're doing on this, and looking forward to getting to work, doing whatever we can to help.
Absolutely. Thank you. We appreciate that. Okay, so hearing nothing else, I will move to item 10 on the agenda, which is reports of committee members and staff. Let's see. I'll throw it out there. Do any committee members have anything that they would like to report out?
I've got one. It's kind of a report, but it's something I wanted to bring up, maybe to get some insight from you or anybody else that can help with this. Gary and I actually chatted about this a couple of weeks ago briefly, and it looks like a lot of our work plan is going to involves reaching out to other entities, whether they be to put together, especially to put together the service registry and all that. We're going to be reaching out to all these different entities. And I found with the work I've done all the way with the Public Safety Committee, especially downtown Del Mar, I've made a lot of contacts with business people down there. A lot of them I already knew, but it's kind of uncomfortable sometimes approaching somebody that you don't know and trying to explain what your function is with the city. I've gotten, well, no, I'm not buying anything, and no, I'm just a volunteer. No, I don't, And so what I finally did is I went to the city website where it lists all of us on the Public Safety Committee and our emails, and I made a copy of it. And then I started off with, no, look, I'm actually involved with the city. I'm a volunteer with this committee, and my name is Rick Lepp. And it's just been kind of uncomfortable sometimes. And then on the phone, it's really tough. So I don't know if the other committees have come across this. I mean, I don't know if we would be able to make up a business card or something, or something that would identify us. It's just kind of a strange relationship when you're trying to explain what you are and to add some legitimacy to you somehow. I don't know if anybody else has had that experience, or maybe you could give me, some insight or whatever. I don't know how the other committees do it or how they breach that issue.
I could kind of speak to that real quick, Rick. I think that, emailing from the city email, and I have like a kind of a signature line automatically populated in my emails that just kind of identifies City of San Clemente Human Affairs Committee. They also gave us these name tags. And I don't know if in the Public Safety Committee, if you guys, I know it's, 2020, not a whole lot of in-person interaction going on. So not much need for a name tag at that point. But that also has helped in terms of, legitimacy when seeing people in person in the past.
Well, yeah, the name tag, if you're going out, like Gary and I were planning on going out to some places and speaking to people, if you're actually in person, I think that would be a really great thing. It has a city seal on it and all that, or a polo shirt or something, would probably be good. But yeah, that's good insight. I like that.
I'll look into the name tags and report back at the next meeting on that. But that's a good idea. It didn't even occur to me about name tags. And I totally agree with what Tyler said about the email. I could provide some examples as well of times when other cities contact us with questions. I can give you some examples like that as well if you need them.
No, that'd be good. Yeah, and it's probably user error. I mean, I have some issues with my city email at times. It's like I said, it's probably user error. But I think Tyler's point is good. When you're contacting somebody using the email, is certainly a good idea. That's all I got.
No, and Adam, I know a little while back we had a discussion regarding contacting other entities and stuff, and maybe you can review some of that, how our contacts should be with other entities.
Well, the subcommittee, is free to contact whoever will talk to them about related. Related subject matter, but I will just say that there are certain formalities that agencies, governmental agencies, tend to follow, and so if the contacts you're attempting to make are to government agencies or people within them, maybe let's have a discussion about those formalities. It's not a matter of openness or transparency. It's really a matter of timing and understanding, that what is being asked of another agency is not necessarily accounted for, and so there's a way to ask questions that don't require a lot of time on their part. And so if you want to contact a governmental agency, just call me. We'll have a conversation about it. They tend to be short on time and long on lists of things to do for their own agencies. So, but other than that, everybody, you're free to contact whoever you want directly. But like I said, call me first if you would like some advice on how to get your questions answered in the most efficient manner.
You're going to be getting a lot of calls, because I mean, we got all these cities in Orange County and all the public agencies that work for the county. And I'm just reading today in a little article in the Orange County Register that there are 41 state agencies involved in homelessness. So you really want
they're doing a great job too.
Yeah. Well, that was part of that. Was
what I'll say is this: the conversation about dealing with the formalities of other government agencies is one conversation applies to many different entities. So if you want to contact 41 state agencies, we can have one conversation about that. Okay. And if you'd like to talk about it 41 times, I'm okay with that too. All right.
All right.
Anybody, I'm sorry.
No,
Chair Walsh?
okay. I think it's gonna be cumbersome, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I want to make sure that the subcommittee gets the information that they need. You know, this work is directed by the council, so I have every interest in helping the subcommittee get the information that's going to best serve the residents of San Clemente. So do not. This is one of the, I'll say, the better parts of my job, is helping people who help, you know, all of us. Did anybody else have a report that they'd like to
No
make?
report.
All right. If not, I was going to just provide information about the outreach, the homeless outreach coordinator position, but all that information has been discussed so far. As I said before, I will provide regular updates as the process moves forward. But other than that, I do not have anything else to report. So at this point, we just need a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. As we discussed earlier, the next meeting will be March 11th at 3 p.m.
Make a motion to adjourn our meeting to our next special meeting on March 11th at 3 p.m.
Second.
Okay, motion by Subcommittee Member Bowden and a second by Vice Chair Ewing. Subcommittee Member Bowden,
Aye.
Subcommittee Member Leffler,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ewing,
Aye.
and Chair Walsh.
Hi.
All right. That concludes the meeting. I will see you all next time. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll be calling you soon, Bill.
Okay.